Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is Poly-4, more adding and subtracting polynomials. Since this is a review homework, let's review some vocabulary terms that we've already heard. Like terms. Terms that have the exact same variable raised to the exact same exponent. So when you have x to the third power, all the terms that have x to the third power are like terms. You can see I've circled both of those with yellow circles. The blue boxes also have like terms of x squared. The base number on any of these is not important. The fact that these are both 3's is just a coincidence. Doesn't mean that that makes them like terms. They could be different numbers. Simplified. A polynomial is simplified when it contains no like terms. So if you take the example we originally had, if we combined the x thirds to get 6x to the third power, and we combined the x squares to get negative 3x to the second power, then we've simplified that polynomial. And additive inverse, which is something we do when we're subtracting polynomials, the additive inverse is adding the opposite. For example, a plus b becomes negative a minus b. You could think of it as multiplying the polynomial by minus 1. So in that same example, if we took a plus b and multiplied it by negative 1, we would then change the signs of everything inside the parentheses, so it would become negative a and negative b. Now we'll get started by taking a look at question number 11. Simplify if possible and write each answer in descending order. So we have two polynomials that we are adding, and the key here is we should want to take this, and I'm going to set it up this way, but we want to combine like terms to simplify this equation. So now that I've got these set up like this, we're going to go ahead and add each of these columns. And as you can see, if we do a positive x squared and a negative x squared, it gives us nothing because they cancel out. If we have a positive 5x and a negative 4x, we wind up with a positive x, right? The 1 is assumed to be there. And a negative 24 and a positive 9 is going to give us a negative 15. For number 12c, we're asked to express the perimeter of each figure in the simplest form. So we have all four sides of this figure. We need to add them together to find out what the perimeter of this figure is. So we're starting with 4y plus 7 1/4 y plus 4y plus 8 1/4 y. If we combine some of those terms, we have 8y plus 15 3/4 y. Well, the two 4y's gave us 8y, and 15 3/4 y came from 7 1/4 plus 8 1/2. And now these are still y's, so we can combine these, which brings us to a total of 23 3/4 y, and we have to say units because we weren't given a specific unit measurement for these sides. But you always have to say units when you're talking about perimeter. For number 13, we're going to do D, E, and F. We're going to simplify each expression. So D doesn't have any numbers. It's all letters. And we have A minus B. And then we have a subtraction of A plus B. And then another subtraction of negative A minus B. So the initial piece that we have here stays exactly the way it is. But then as we move through here, each time we do a subtraction, we need to get the additive inverse, or we need to think about it as multiplying each one of these by negative 1. And that is going to change the signs on both of these second ones. So the A minus B is going to come down, but having multiplied by negative 1, we're going to get negative A minus B. We're going to get, since the A over here is negative, we're going to get a positive A, and since the B is negative, we're going to get a positive B. And as I look through this, I see that this certainly can be simplified. We have a positive A right here and a negative A right here, which are going to cancel each other out. I have a negative B right here and a positive B right here that are going to cancel each other out. And so I'm left with a positive A and a negative B. Now, as far as descending order goes, because we have no variables and no exponents, I'm going to put them in alphabetical order with the A minus B. For 13e, we have 5c minus 4c minus 6c squared. Again, because I'm subtracting, I need to get the additive inverse. So it's like I'm multiplying by -1. So in this case, I'm going to wind up with 5c minus 4c, because the sign changed, plus 6c squared, because the sign changed. And I can combine these two for 1c, or just c. But because I need to put them in descending order, I'm going to put the 6c squared first. And lastly, for number 13, we have f, which is x squared minus 3x plus 5 minus 9x minus 5x squared minus 7. So the first two are adding, and then we have a subtraction, which means that we're going to multiply that by -1 to get the additive inverse. So this is going to look like x squared minus 3. This doesn't change. This doesn't change because it's being added to this. The signs over here do change, so what was a positive 5 becomes a negative x squared, and what was a -7 becomes a positive 7. Then we combine like terms. We will wind up with -4x squared minus 12x plus 12. Last problem we're going to do is problem number 14b. Find the missing side lengths based upon the perimeter of each figure. So we were given the total perimeter of all three and then given two sides. So step 1, we need to add the two sides we were given. So if we add 3y squared plus 5y and 2y squared minus 5, the 3 and the 2y squared can be combined for 5y squared. Be careful, don't try to subtract 5 from 5y. They are not like terms and they cannot be subtracted. So each of these terms gets brought down. But since we're doing it in descending order, the 5y comes down first and then the -5 afterwards. And now that we have the missing, the total of these two sides, we could subtract this from the original perimeter to find the missing side length. So we're going to subtract the two sides from the perimeter. So we have 7y squared minus 4y plus 5, which was the original perimeter. And keep in mind, since we're subtracting, I need to take this and give the opposite signs. So I now have -5y squared minus 5y plus 5 right here. So I'm not showing it, but I changed the signs. Now I can go ahead and subtract. Well, actually, I can go ahead and add. So it's 5 plus 5 is 10. -4 and -5 give me -9y. And -5 and 7 give me a positive 2y squared. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that are on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.